Ladies and gentlemen, success is not something you chase. It is something you attract by the person you become. The world does not reward those who merely want success. It rewards those who are worthy of it. Ask yourself, are you the kind of person success is looking for, or are you waiting for fortune to knock on your door without preparing a place for it in your life? You see, success is not a matter of luck. It is not won in a lottery, nor stumbled upon by accident. Success is a law like gravity. It responds to cause and effect, to preparation, to persistence, and most of all, to belief. Before success can appear in your outer world, it must be born in your inner world. Every achievement, every triumph, every empire began as a thought, a single idea held in the mind with faith, fed daily with purpose, watered with effort, and protected from the weeds of doubt. If you want to attract success, you must become the kind of person who deserves it. That means developing the disciplines of success. Success is not something that responds to desperation, nor is it a fleeting prize that randomly falls into people's laps. It is something much more deliberate, much more intelligent in its nature. It does not come to those who run after it wildly, but instead to those who develop themselves into magnets, individuals of such character, clarity, and discipline that success cannot help but be drawn to them. This is why the idea that you must attract success, not chase it, is so powerful. Chasing implies that success is ahead of you, always running just out of reach. Attraction implies that you are standing firm, growing strong, and becoming so valuable, so aligned with success principles, that success is naturally pulled into your orbit. When people chase success blindly, they often end up moving from one idea to the next, chasing trends, following fads, or imitating what others are doing, hoping that something will finally work. But this rarely leads to lasting achievement. It produces scattered energy, inconsistency, and exhaustion. A person who constantly chases without a foundation rarely develops the depth or discipline needed to hold on to any success that may come their way. That's because they're always reacting to external circumstances rather than mastering their internal environment. The person who attracts success operates differently. They understand that real achievement begins within. They work on themselves, on their mindset, their habits, their discipline, their values. They don't wait for someone to give them permission, nor do they expect results before they've earned them. They live with intention and purpose, knowing that when they become someone of value, value naturally flows back to them. It's not about faking confidence or repeating empty affirmations. It's about becoming someone who lives by principles that lead to achievement. Such a person does not need to boast or seek constant validation. Their consistency speaks for them. Their character shines through in how they treat others, how they handle pressure, and how they respond to failure. Success is naturally drawn to them because people trust them. Opportunities are presented to them because they are seen as reliable. They don't need to scream, "Look at me." Their presence already communicates quiet strength and capability. Attraction works because it aligns with how the universe responds to preparation. The law of cause and effect is always at work. When you prepare diligently, success becomes the natural result, not a lucky accident. It may not come instantly, but it becomes inevitable. Imagine someone who works daily to improve their skills, deepen their knowledge, build meaningful relationships, and stay disciplined in their actions. That person is creating a powerful field of attraction. When the opportunity comes, and it always does, they're ready, and because they're ready, they capitalize on it fully. Chasing, on the other hand, is usually born from fear or insecurity. It's reactive. It says, if I just get this one thing, then I'll feel successful. But success does not work that way. It doesn't respond to neediness. It responds to strength, clarity, and contribution. When you chase success out of lack or desperation, you repel it because you're coming from a place of emptiness. You're trying to grab results without building the roots that can sustain them. Attracting success means you're not chasing money for the sake of money or fame for the sake of being seen. You're developing skills because you want to be excellent. You're serving others because you know contribution is the highest form of fulfillment. You're learning, growing, staying disciplined not because someone told you to, but because that's the kind of person you choose to be. It also means patience. The person who attracts success doesn't expect overnight results. They understand the principle of delayed gratification. They trust the process, knowing that every day they become stronger, wiser, more capable. Every day they build their reputation, their resilience, and their focus. And that consistent inner work creates outer opportunities. The truth is, success is looking for people to partner with. It's searching for those who are prepared, responsible, ethical, and driven. When you become that kind of person, success finds you. Doors open, people recommend you, ideas flow, results compound, not because you chased them, but because you earned them by becoming someone who attracts them. So the challenge is not to run harder, shout louder, or work yourself into exhaustion trying to get ahead. The challenge is to transform yourself into someone success is drawn to. That means knowing what you stand for. It means creating powerful daily habits. It means taking action even when it's inconvenient. And above all, it means developing the patience and belief to stay the course. In the end, the most powerful thing you can do is stop chasing what you want and start becoming the person who deserves it. When you do, success will not only find you, it will stay. Everything you experience in the external world begins with something much smaller, yet infinitely more powerful, your thoughts. Before any building rises from the ground, there is a blueprint. Before any masterpiece is painted, there is a vision in the artist's mind. Likewise, every success story, every achievement, every personal transformation begins as an idea, an internal spark that ignites when you believe something more is possible for your life. This is why your inner world, the thoughts you think, the beliefs you hold, and the emotions you carry, becomes the true architect of your reality. Your outer results are not separate from your inner state. In fact, they are a reflection of it. If your thoughts are scattered, doubtful, or negative, your actions will mirror that chaos. But when your mind is focused, empowered, and full of clarity, your behavior becomes purposeful, and your results begin to align with the success you envision. The mistake many people make is thinking that success is something they have to chase in the physical world without first addressing the mental world where it originates. Your mind is the workshop where all transformation begins. It is where you design the life you want, but design alone is not enough. That design must be held with conviction. You must believe beyond doubt that you can become the person who lives the life you dream of. That belief becomes the fuel that powers your actions, sustains your discipline, and sharpens your focus. Without that inner foundation, no external strategy can compensate. Every successful person you see, whether in business, the arts, sports, or any field, began their journey by seeing something in their mind long before the world ever saw it in reality. They visualized the goal, felt the emotions of achievement, and repeated those images until they became more real in their thoughts than the circumstances around them. It is this deep mental programming that allows them to move with certainty, even when the path is unclear. The inner world must also be protected. Doubt, fear, and negativity are persistent enemies. They whisper that you're not ready, that you're not enough, that success is for others, not you. If you allow those voices to dominate, they will shape your beliefs, and your beliefs will determine your actions, or lack of action. That's why the mind must be guarded, trained, and constantly nourished with thoughts that serve your growth. It's not just about thinking positively. It's about thinking powerfully, intentionally choosing thoughts that align with the person you want to become. When you think powerfully, you begin to feel differently. You carry yourself with confidence, you speak with certainty, You make decisions with purpose, and these internal changes create external momentum. Another important truth is that your inner world determines how you interpret and respond to life. Two people can experience the same setback, say, a business failure or a personal disappointment, but respond in completely different ways. One sees it as a sign to quit. The other sees it as feedback, as fuel for growth. The difference is not in the event, but in the mindset. Your perception shapes your reality, and your perception is built from the thoughts you consistently entertain. This is why success begins long before results appear. It begins the moment you decide to take control of your thoughts, the moment you stop letting the outer world dictate your worth, and start creating your identity from the inside out. That internal decision, backed by action and persistence, is the seed from which all your future success will grow. To create meaningful results, you must do more than just work harder. You must think differently. You must start each day with intention, deciding who you want to be, how you want to think, and what kind of energy you want to bring to your goals. When you do this consistently, your habits begin to change. Your choices improve, and little by little, your environment begins to reflect your inner transformation. There's a reason why some people seem to create opportunity wherever they go. It's not because they're luckier or more privileged. It's because they carry a mindset that attracts opportunity. They believe in their ability to create, to adapt, to overcome, and because they believe it, they see options others miss. They act when others hesitate. They persist when others fold. That's not magic, it's mindset, and that mindset was cultivated long before the results showed up. Ultimately, you are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the author of your life story. And every thought is a sentence, every belief is a chapter, every decision shapes the plot. If you want to rewrite your life, you must start by rewriting your thoughts. Fill your mind with possibility, courage, discipline, and vision. Surround yourself with inspiration. Feed your spirit with books, conversations, and experiences that expand your perspective. Because when your inner world becomes rich, focused, and strong, your outer world cannot help but follow. Results will come not because you chased them, but because you became the kind of person who naturally creates them. The outside world is merely a mirror, and when that mirror finally reflects success, it's because success was already built within you. Discipline is the silent force that separates those who dream from those who achieve. It is not glamorous, and it is rarely praised in the moment, but it is the foundation upon which every lasting success is built. Without discipline, even the most brilliant ideas fade, the most ambitious goals crumble, and the most talented individuals fall short. Discipline is the ability to act with purpose even when motivation is gone. It is the commitment to keep promises made to oneself long after the excitement has worn off. If you want to attract success, discipline is not optional, it is essential. Most people are waiting for the perfect conditions to act. They wait to feel inspired, to feel ready, to feel like it's the right time. But those who attract success do not wait for conditions. They create them. Discipline means showing up regardless of how you feel. It means doing the work when it's hard, when it's boring, and when no one is watching. It is built in the quiet hours, in the early mornings, and in the moments when quitting would be easier. Discipline is not about being rigid or punishing yourself. It's about aligning your actions with your highest values. It's a form of self-respect. When you are disciplined, you are telling yourself, I matter, my goals matter, my future matters more than my temporary comfort. That mindset sets you apart in a world that rewards instant gratification and short-term thinking. While others are distracted, disciplined people are focused. While others give up at the first sign of difficulty, disciplined individuals lean in. And that consistency is what separates average outcomes from extraordinary ones. Success is not usually the result of one big decision. It is the accumulation of thousands of small, consistent choices, day after day, moment after moment. It is found in the decision to wake up early, to finish what you start, to push through discomfort, to stay late when necessary, and to keep your word to yourself. These actions may not make headlines, but they create character. And over time, they compound into momentum that becomes unstoppable. Discipline is also the force that carries you through resistance. Every path to success comes with obstacles, fatigue, failure, rejection, doubt. When others hit those walls and turn back, disciplined people push forward. They don't need to feel like it to do it. They've trained themselves to act regardless. This makes them incredibly powerful because nothing outside of them controls their behavior. Not opinions, not emotions, not circumstances. They are driven by principle, not impulse. Think of discipline like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. At first, it may feel unnatural or difficult. Waking up early, sticking to routines, delaying gratification. These are habits that require effort. But over time, they become your default. They become part of your identity. And once discipline becomes who you are no longer negotiating with excuses. You simply do what needs to be done. Many people believe they lack motivation when what they truly lack is discipline. Motivation comes and goes. It's a wave. Sometimes strong, sometimes absent, but discipline is like a compass. It always points in the direction of your goals, no matter what the weather is like. When you build your life around discipline, you don't need to rely on fleeting emotions. You act because you've decided your future is worth it. It's important to understand that discipline is not limited to grand actions. It shows up in the smallest of choices, how you spend your time, what you put into your body, what you say yes to, and what you say no to. Every decision is a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. Are your daily habits aligned with the success you say you want? If not, discipline is the bridge to close that gap. Discipline also breeds trust in yourself and from others. When people see that you are consistent, reliable, and committed, they want to work with you, invest in you, and support you. You become a person others can count on, but more importantly, you become someone you can count on. That inner trust creates confidence. You start to believe in your ability to handle whatever comes because you've proven it to yourself over and over again. There is a quiet power in discipline. It doesn't demand attention, but it earns results. It doesn't shout for recognition, but it builds a life of strength, stability, and integrity. The disciplined individual doesn't chase success in desperation. They attract it because their life is organized, intentional, and full of purpose. They are ready for success because they've practiced success in their daily behavior. And yes, discipline requires sacrifice. You will have to give up comfort, ease, and sometimes even pleasure in the short term. But the rewards are far greater than what you give up. You gain control over your destiny. You gain the satisfaction of knowing you are living at your full potential. You gain the ability to look back without regret and forward with confidence. So if you truly want to attract success, don't just dream about the destination. Develop the discipline to walk the path, step by step, every single day, because in the end, it's not what you say you want that shapes your life. It's what you're willing to do consistently, especially when it's hard, that makes all the difference. Opportunity is not something that waits patiently for you to get ready. It arrives on its own schedule, often unannounced and without warning. The truth is, by the time most people start preparing, the opportunity has already passed them by. That is why preparation is everything. Success is not about hoping to be in the right place at the right time. It's about becoming the right person so that when the right time comes, you are ready to seize it. Preparation creates opportunity, because it puts you in a position to act decisively and confidently when the moment arrives. Far too many people wait. They wait for the perfect conditions. They wait until they feel confident. They wait until someone gives them permission or guarantees them a result. In waiting, they believe they are being cautious or strategic, but in truth they are falling behind. Because while they are waiting, someone else is preparing. Someone else is working when it's uncomfortable, learning when it's inconvenient, practicing when there's no applause. That person is not necessarily more talented or more connected. They are simply more prepared. The world rewards those who are ready, not those who are merely hopeful. Being prepared means that you've done the inner and outer work required to take advantage of opportunities. It means you've developed the necessary skills, sharpened your mindset, and laid a foundation strong enough to carry success when it finally arrives. When you prepare in advance, you remove hesitation. You don't need to stop and think, "Can I handle this?" Because you already know the answer. You've trained for this. You've built the competence, the experience, and the readiness to step into your moment. Think of preparation like planting seeds. Every hour you spend learning, every effort you make to grow, every challenge you push through, it's all part of sowing the ground. You don't see immediate results, but that doesn't mean the work is wasted. The roots are forming, the foundation is being set, and one day, seemingly out of nowhere, an opportunity will appear, and you will bloom because you've prepared beneath the surface. Others will call it luck. You will know it was preparation meeting the moment. Preparation also builds confidence. When you've done the work in advance, you don't need to fake certainty. You know what you're capable of because you've proven it to yourself. Confidence born of preparation is unshakable. It's not arrogance, and it's not based on wishful thinking. It comes from repetition, from consistency, from deliberate practice. You've put in the hours when it was hard. You've sacrificed when no one was watching. That quiet confidence becomes your edge when the pressure is on. Another reason preparation is so powerful is that it puts you in motion. People often overthink, overanalyze, and stall their own progress because they fear making the wrong move. But when you're in a state of preparation, you're not frozen. You're moving forward, learning, testing, adjusting, and movement attracts clarity. As you move, you learn more about what works and what doesn't. You develop instincts, you become more adaptable. So even if the opportunity you expected doesn't come, you are better prepared for the one that does. It's also important to understand that not all preparation is visible. Often, the most important work happens in solitude, in silence, in discipline that no one sees. The world may not recognize your efforts right away. You may not get immediate praise or external rewards. But that's not the point. The point is becoming capable. The point is getting stronger, wiser, and more resilient. When your moment comes, you won't need to announce yourself. Your preparation will speak for you. Some of the greatest regrets people carry come from moments they were unprepared. A job opportunity they couldn't take because they hadn't developed the skills. A relationship they weren't mature enough to maintain. A business venture they couldn't handle because they hadn't built the systems. These moments aren't failures. They're lessons. They teach us the value of readiness. Once you understand that, you no longer wait for the right conditions. You create them through preparation. Even small acts of preparation matter. Reading a chapter, practicing a skill, refining a process, reaching out to a mentor. These are all steps forward. The compound effect of daily preparation is massive. 1 hour a day spent preparing may not seem like much, but over a year, it becomes the difference between average and exceptional. You don't need to overhaul your life in one dramatic gesture. You need to commit to progress, brick by brick, layer by layer. In every field, athletics, business, art, science, the individuals who rise to the top are not always the most naturally gifted. They are the most prepared. They show up early. They stay late. They study. They fail forward, and because of that, when their chance comes, they don't fumble it. They rise to meet it. Success becomes a natural outcome not because of luck, but because they made themselves ready. So if you're not seeing the results you want yet, ask yourself, am I truly prepared? Am I using this time to build, to grow, to sharpen? Or am I waiting, watching, hoping something will change on its own? Life doesn't give guarantees, but it does reward the prepared, and your moment will come. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe in a year. But if you've done the work, you won't need to chase it. You'll be ready to claim it. Success is never created in isolation. Every major achievement, every breakthrough, every turning point in life involves the influence, support, or guidance of other people. That is why your environment, the people you surround yourself with, matters more than most realize. The individuals in your circle either fuel your growth or drain your energy. They either encourage your ambition or feed your doubt. To attract success, you must be intentional about who you allow into your mental and emotional space. We tend to mirror the habits, attitudes, and expectations of those closest to us. It happens subtly, over time, through conversations, shared beliefs, and social norms. If you're surrounded by people who think small, settle for less, and resist change, it's only a matter of time before their mindset becomes your own. On the other hand, if you spend time with driven, focused, forward, thinking individuals, your own standards will rise to match theirs. Your environment either becomes a cage or a launch pad. It's your choice. The truth is, energy is contagious. If the people around you are constantly complaining, doubting, making excuses, or living in fear, that energy will affect you no matter how strong you think you are. Over time, it can dull your ambition and shrink your vision, but when you're in the presence of people who are building, striving, and growing, their energy lifts you. It challenges you to do better, to think bigger, and to stretch beyond your current limitations. That's why it's essential to evaluate your circle honestly. Who do you spend the most time with? What are you learning from them? How do they speak about goals, challenges, and the future? Do they inspire action, or do they rationalize stagnation? These aren't just casual questions. They are critical reflections that shape your trajectory. If you want to change your life, you often need to change your surroundings first. Being selective with your environment isn't about arrogance, it's about alignment. You're not judging people, you're simply choosing to invest your time and energy in a way that supports your growth. That might mean spending less time with certain individuals, even if they're close to you, and seeking out new relationships that uplift and motivate you. This can be uncomfortable, especially when it involves long-standing friendships or family ties, but your future demands courage. You can love people from a distance while choosing what's best for your progress. One powerful practice is to seek out mentors, even indirectly. You don't always need someone to sit down and personally guide you. Books, interviews, courses, and conversations with those who have walked the path ahead of you can be just as powerful. When you consistently expose yourself to higher-level thinking, it begins to shift what you consider normal. Suddenly, excuses feel uncomfortable, wasted time becomes intolerable, and success starts to feel not just possible, but inevitable. Another way to elevate your environment is to be the one who raises the standard. Leadership isn't about telling others what to do, it's about setting an example. When you live with discipline, vision, and integrity, you inspire those around you to do the same. You create a ripple effect. Your presence becomes a reminder that greatness is possible, and in doing so, you begin to attract like-minded individuals who resonate with your energy and values. It's also worth noting that your environment isn't limited to people. It includes the media you consume, the spaces you work in, the habits you keep, and the conversations you entertain. Are you feeding your mind with inspiration, knowledge, and clarity, or are you numbing it with distractions, noise, and negativity? Every input shapes your output. To build a life of success, your environment must reflect the life you're building. not the life you're trying to escape. Even small changes in your environment can yield massive results. Removing toxic influences, adding inspiring voices, cleaning up your workspace, or joining a community of achievers can rewire your mindset and renew your motivation. These aren't dramatic moves, but they create momentum. And momentum is the force that carries you through resistance. Success often arrives through connections. One introduction, one conversation, one referral can open doors you never knew existed. But those doors don't open for people who are surrounded by dead ends. They open for those who are visible, active, and aligned with others who are also moving forward. That's why building a strong, supportive network is more than a strategy. It's a necessity. If you feel stuck, frustrated, or unclear, start by looking around you. Who are you listening to? Who are you modeling? Who are you becoming through these relationships? And more importantly, who do you need to become in order to attract the kind of circle that elevates you? Because in the end, success is not just about what you do, it's about who you do it with. The people around you can either become anchors that hold you back or wings that help you rise. Choose wisely. Align yourself with those who reflect the future you desire, not the past you're trying to outgrow. And remember, you don't have to wait for the perfect tribe to show up. Start by becoming the kind of person you want to attract. The rest will follow. There is a magnetic power in belief. What you believe about yourself sets the limit on what you're capable of achieving. Your belief system is the lens through which you interpret the world, your experiences, and your potential. If that lens is clouded with doubt, fear, or limitation, it will distort your perception of what is possible. But when that lens is clear, when your belief in yourself is strong, focused, and unwavering, you begin to attract the very things others think are out of reach. Belief, more than anything, is the invisible force that fuels achievement and draws success toward those who cultivate it with conviction. People often assume that success must be earned first before belief can follow. They think confidence comes after achievement, that you have to prove yourself before you can believe in yourself. But the opposite is true. The belief must come first. You must see yourself as capable, worthy, and destined for more before the results show up. That's what makes belief so powerful. It gives you the courage to act boldly even when evidence of success is not yet visible. It empowers you to take risks, to endure setbacks, and to keep going when logic says to quit. Belief is the internal permission slip you give yourself to succeed. Without it, no amount of opportunity, talent, or luck can take root. When you believe in your ability to grow, improve, and overcome, you activate a mental state that supports perseverance, creativity, and resilience. You stop waiting for certainty or guarantees, and you start trusting your own capacity to figure things out along the way. That inner trust is what separates those who try from those who triumph. Many people have dreams, but few believe deeply enough in themselves to pursue them with full commitment. They hold back, waiting for signs or external validation. They entertain what-if scenarios rooted in fear. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if I'm judged? But belief flips those questions. It replaces fear with faith. It asks, what if I succeed? What if I am more capable than I imagined? What if the risk leads to reward? That shift in minds, it doesn't just change your thoughts. It changes your behavior, your decisions, and ultimately your outcomes. Belief also transforms how you respond to failure. When you doubt yourself, every mistake feels like confirmation of your inadequacy. But when you believe in yourself, failure becomes feedback. It becomes a stepping stone instead of a stop sign. You see setbacks as temporary, not defining. You maintain forward motion even when progress is slow, because your belief tells you that the destination is still possible. That persistence is what creates breakthroughs that others never reach. The people who achieve lasting success are not those who never struggled. They are those who kept believing through the struggle. They refused to let circumstances rewrite the script of who they knew they could become. Their belief was their anchor in uncertainty, their fuel when energy ran low, their compass when direction was unclear. And because they held on to it, they were able to rise. Belief is also deeply tied to identity. When you believe in yourself, you don't just think you can succeed. You see yourself as someone who succeeds. You adopt the habits, posture, and standards of a high-performing individual because that's who you believe you are. This identity shift changes everything. You no longer have to force yourself to act like a winner. You act like one because it's aligned with how you see yourself. The actions become natural, and with time they produce real results, but belief is not a one-time decision. It must be nurtured daily. You must feed it with positive self-talk, with reflection on your past wins, with exposure to inspiring stories, and with alignment to your values. You must protect it from negativity, from comparison, and from voices that attempt to plant seeds of doubt. Belief is like a fire. It can light your path, but it must be tended or it will fade. Surrounding yourself with people who reinforce your belief is also critical. While belief starts within, it is strengthened by community. When others believe in you, it becomes easier to believe in yourself. When you see what's possible for others, it reminds you of what's possible for you. Choose environments and relationships that water your belief, not those that wither it. It's also important to understand that belief does not mean delusion. It doesn't ignore hard truths or pretend obstacles don't exist. Real belief embraces the challenge and still chooses to move forward. It is grounded, disciplined, and supported by action. It is not passive. It demands effort, but belief gives meaning to the effort. It makes the work worthwhile. It adds purpose to the process. So many people ask, how do I attract success? The answer is simple, though not always easy. Believe that it is already possible for you, and act as if it's already on its way. Live today in alignment with the version of yourself who already has what you seek. Speak like that person, move like that person, decide like that person. The more you step into that identity, the more naturally success will begin to find you. You don't need to have all the answers right now. You don't need to be perfect, but you do need to believe truly and consistently that you are capable, worthy, and meant for more. That belief will change how you walk into rooms, how you handle adversity, how you talk to yourself, and how others see you. It will shift your entire energy, and when your energy shifts, your life will too. Success is not a matter of luck, chance, or circumstance. It is the natural result of who you become. When you focus on becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts success, you shift your entire life in the direction of growth, purpose, and fulfillment. This isn't about chasing trophies or recognition. It's about transformation from the inside out, building the mindset, habits, beliefs, and character that draw opportunities to you without force or desperation. The process begins with clarity. When you define what success means to you, on your terms, you create a target that guides your actions. Clarity empowers you to say no to distractions and yes to what aligns with your greater vision. But clarity alone isn't enough. It must be followed by consistent, disciplined action. Success doesn't respond to occasional bursts of motivation. It responds to sustained effort. The person who attracts success shows up daily, whether it's convenient or not. They understand that every step, no matter how small, is shaping who they're becoming. Preparation plays a vital role. You don't rise to the level of your potential. You fall to the level of your preparation. When you train your mind, sharpen your skills, and condition your responses before the moment comes, you're able to seize it fully when it arrives. Those who prepare consistently don't have to get ready. They are ready. That readiness breeds confidence, and confidence becomes a magnet. But the journey isn't meant to be walked alone. The company you keep either elevates or limits you. Your environment is a mirror of your standards. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to rise, who celebrate your growth, and who reflect the kind of values you aspire to embody. Let go of relationships that feed your fears or dilute your drive. You become like those you spend the most time with. Choose them wisely. Above all, your belief in yourself is the cornerstone. Without belief, the most brilliant plans collapse under doubt. With belief, even the most uncertain path becomes walkable. You don't need permission to believe in your vision, and you don't need perfect conditions to begin. You simply need the courage to claim your worth and the resilience to keep showing up when the results take time. Becoming the person who attracts success is not about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about revealing the greatness that already exists within you. It's about stripping away excuses, replacing fear with faith, and living with intention. When you operate from this place of strength and authenticity, success doesn't need to be chased. It is drawn to you naturally, inevitably. The journey is long, but it's worth every step. Start now. Start where you are. Commit to the process of becoming, and trust that as you grow, everything you desire will begin to align around the person you are becoming. Success, after all, is not something you find. It's something you attract by who you are.